Welcome to Mike Dub 27 Day Trader. And today we got some new Lucid news going on. So let's go ahead and take a look at it real quick. And if you notice, Lucid Group started going back into the upward trend. It actually went up $2.23 to 18.44. It had dropped all the way down to 16.30. And what was going on to make this deal? Well, apparently, Lucid was able to ink a $300 million deal with Uber. And that's what caused it to move up. Now, the interesting thing about this is the fact that it didn't add to the money. If you notice right here, the market cap for for Lucid Group actually went down $1 billion. Now it is at 5.65 billion. It was in the 6 billions. It even got as high as 7 or 8 billion. So within a year, we went from 8 billion down to 5.65 billion. So they're definitely losing money. But the deal was able to give them somewhat of a spark to the point to where we started seeing an uptick in the actual stock. Now, how long will this uptick last? I don't know. I could not tell you. I'm not a financial advisor. But the shorts definitely got beat out today. So let's take a look at the candles and see how they're looking. Let's take a look at the shorts. So in the candlestick, we can see right here, this is y'all short city, USA right here. From 7:35 all the way to 9:26. Nothing but shorts doing what they usually do, that up, down, up, down, up, down within cents. And then once that move hit right there, for that 3 million, that 300 million hit, that's when all of a sudden you started seeing uptick. You see the shorts they were trying, right here, but then it just kept going up. And then they got a little momentum right here, but then they just kept going up, stayed steady for a little bit, went up and peaked all the way up at 1873, and then stayed over 18. So the shorts definitely got beat out today. Now, with that being said, there are a lot of people that are probably still, if you had stayed in, you're still in the red, because Lucid Group was at $22. Of course, this is after the reverse stock split. So they still got to make up some momentum. Now, if I'm not mistaken, they changed the projected price to be $20. So that seems to be the direction that they think that the stock is going to be heading. Let's go ahead and let's look at the insiders and see if we can see who are on. And here are the buys right here. So Mark, he went ahead and put his own money in the ring. We already saw that. Gagan Dingra, we saw that before. And then Eric Bach, we saw that as well. All right, so we already saw that. Let's look at the hedge funds. And then with the hedge funds, it's not too much going on right here. It's pretty much just a regular position. And then you got these open positions, but you don't see any sales. You don't see it between the insiders and the hedge funds. You haven't seen a sale since, well, of course, since that one, but a real big sale since June the 9th. Everything's been a buy. So if it was really just the market doing what it does with the shorts, a whole bunch of individual stockholders and things like that. But let's look at some of the information. Low today, 1614. High today, 1874. Open price, 1631. If you had got in here, which a lot of people probably didn't because they either already had the stock or they got out already. Volume 33.37 million, average 16. Still not really making any money with the price earnings ratio. So we're gonna go ahead and see, see what happens with this. But yeah, as of 3 hours ago, it says right here, Lucid reports its fourth quarter and full year 2021 financial update after the market closed today. Shares are popping ahead of that report, but there's another reason, and that is as of 12:34 p.m. Eastern Time on Monday, Lucid shares had jumped 6.8% today. So what the pop of the stocks comes from Bloomberg reported that Lucid has signed a agreement to build a new factory in Saudi Arabia. Its first outside. Okay, this is old news. This is an old article. Have they added anything to this article? Nope. So that was a waste of time. But anyhow, we already know it's because of the Lucid move for the 300 million. You go right here. There it is. Lucid announces closing a $300 million investment from Uber. So basically, Uber gave them $300 million to go ahead and build these Lucid robo taxis. It's interesting. I never noticed they had a little print on them. Looks like little people or something like that. Lucid, Neuro, and Uber. I gotta look up Neuro and see what they're all about. But yeah, here we go. Lucid Group, world's most advanced electric vehicles, today announced the closing of a $300 million investment in the company by Uber Technologies. The strategic investment was made as part of the Next Generation's premium global robotaxi program announced in July. The robotaxi, which will utilize Lucid's electric vehicle technology platform, is planned to be built at Lucid's manufacturing facility in Arizona and will operate exclusively on Uber's ride-hailing platform. So Lucid is going to be Uber's go-to for these robo-taxis. The funding supports the partnership between the two companies and contributes to development costs associated with the autonomous robotaxi initiative. So here, maybe Lucid can stop some of the bleeding by this money that they just got from Uber. Is expected to first launch later next year, so later 2026, in a major U.S. city. Doesn't say which one. The new robotaxi service combines the industry-leading software-defined vehicle architecture of the Lucid Gravity, the scalability and proven capability of the Neuro Driver Level 4 autonomy system. So the Neuro Driver is basically, it seems like that's the self-driving system that it's going to be using for autonomy. And Uber's vast global network and dynamic fleet management, delivering a fully integrated robotaxi experience developed for comfort, safety, and scale. Then, if you go down here, Uber aims to deploy 20,000 or more Lucid vehicles through the program over 6 years. So we can definitely see Uber's going to be around for a long time. So that may actually be what saves Lucid right there. That robo taxi. But I digress. Let's go back. That's one of those things we have to wait and see. You know, something could happen Monday and this thing could drop right back down to $16. And so you really just got to see what direction, everything's going. Now, as far as stocks, let's look up Neuro. All right, so Neuro isn't tradable yet, so we really can't see too much from their aspect of everything. But yeah, not too much been going on today. One stock that went up, AGNC, is one of those dividend stocks. Actually hit $10.30 today. Now, if you looked at it from the week, it was hanging around the mid $9. And then today, it actually finally crossed over to the $10.30. 52-week high is 10.85. So it's about to reach its 52-week high, or at least that's the direction it's going. 64% say that is a buy. Had a couple sales. Oh, that's me. Not too much information about this. Here we go. So the earnings estimation is 0.38 cents per share. And these type of dividend stocks, they usually do pretty good. Another stock to look at, it says Webull. Just because Webull, it dropped down to $12.60. And that's a trading platform kind of like Robinhood. And at one point in time, Webull had made it to $15. And then it just dropped down. Some of the sentiment is from the fact that, let me look up here. Yeah. The headquarters is in St. Petersburg, Florida, but I think it originated in like China or something like that. So because of that, some people kind of have some issues with, trusting it and things like that. Price to earnings ratio is terrible. There's the problem. They're not making any money. They better take some tips from Robinhood. Yeah, never mind. Don't mess with them. But speaking of Robinhood, man, Robinhood dropped down. I didn't have any money left over to put into it. But once it hit 97, $96 right there, I knew it was people were gonna jump on that just because it's Robinhood. They're making money hand over fist. And that's exactly what happened. At 5 p.m., 5:30, that thing jumped right up to $109. So I don't know what caused this to drop right there, but it definitely made some money for somebody. Like I said, they're making money hand over feet. Market cap 89.98 billion. High today 110. Low today 96. People made money today. Average volume 31. Volume 62 million. Oh, let me see. Do they have a projected price or has it already hit that? It doesn't say what the projected price is. Estimated 0.45 cents per share for the earnings. You got a lot of some big buys right here. This is one to keep an eye on right here. Yeah, we may want to keep an eye on this Robinhood because if it's doing this well, this is one of those on that next drop right there. We need to make sure we pay attention to it. We don't want to miss out on something like that again. And then another stock you're gonna take a look at is I think it's Bitmine Emerson. Yeah, this is it. Now this stock pretty much follows crypto. It's a Bitcoin mining company. But this is one of those when crypto's going down, it goes down. But when crypto's going up, it's going up. So it actually went down to $39.85 and then went back up to 41 and even hit 42. That was a nice little dip right there. And if you look at crypto and Bitcoin, Let's see, it kind of went in the same fashion almost. It hit 112, dipped, hit 113, and then dropped all the way down to 110. I think it's interesting that it was just at 120, and now all of a sudden it just dropped like basically 10 grand, especially when people are projecting it to eventually hit 150 and stuff like that. But that's neither here nor there. Ooh, Hive Digital reaches new milestone in Bitcoin mining capacity. Let's take a look at that. All right, let's go to Hive. Ooh, Bitfarms doing this thing. Do I have that on my list? Yeah. Let's go to Hive and take a look at that. Hive is probably jumping right now. Wow. It dropped. This must have been one of those things where even though it had good news, it just decided to ignore it. But yeah, it went from 281 down to 263. But that's not necessarily bad. That just means it's it just got cheap. I'm gonna go ahead and add this to my list. Oh, I got a small market cap anyway. 612 million, and they're not making any money yet. So that explains that. But just looking at this, oh no, I'm gonna take that back off. I don't trust it now. Just looking at some of that erratic behavior. I mean, year to date, it's kind of trying to make up for what it lost. At one point in time, it was at $3.35. So if you go back to the max, let's see when it kind of got in this range. 2022, it's kind of been around the same area since 2022. It's 2025, so going on 2026. So unless something miraculous happens with crypto, you can kind of see what's going on here. Yeah, so I wouldn't mess with that. But yeah, so we got some companies making some move. Bitfarms is making some moves. Open Door Technology is doing its thing. Robinhood Markets are doing its thing. Realty income just went up. Pay attention to all your dividend stocks right now because when all regular stocks start acting crazy, a lot of times it's the dividend stocks that'll save you. But yeah, let me see. Is there anything up here I need to take off? I'm gonna take off Meyer Holdings. I may take out Bitmines. Um, Let me see. Anybody down a lot? Here we go. AMD 150. That's not a bad move right there to jump in. AMD at 150, especially when it was just at 170. But we'll see what happens, especially with the rates and the rate cuts that's supposed to be happening soon. But yep, so far everything's cool. No complaints. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to follow. This is Mike Dub 27 Day Trader, and I'm out. Deuces.